must stand up and try and reverse some of this so these things get back to the front. Don't wait for us in the West, we will try, but don't wait. You have a chance to actually lead in this area. So I wasn't dreaming of that ever. It was just something that I took a personal interest in, and at Harvard I started a particular piece of research to do with the absence of architects in infrastructure buildings. And one of the ways to enter that was to create a piece of work, which was in particular the waste management. And I chose that almost as an economist, because the US, if we look at the graph at the bottom, largely sends all its waste to landfill. Sweden has zero landfill, and since the 60s have a political policy to actually recycle and reuse it. It's not the only way to get rid of waste, but my motive was really to educate the very developed world from other parts of the very developed world, like Sweden, where the logic is slightly different, and try and promote this idea of how we can bring together at least the first move towards not moving the waste to the landfill. This is partly why I've asked the organizers to get me particular talks like that at the security lab. So I continue the research on the waste. And it's also beneficial because through that process, we ran a competition where we put a ski slope and we put some farms inside. The house prices around this waste will have the so waste is no longer a problem. It is a resource which should put it right. And you can use it in education. So there are many ways to reimagine that. In that world of environment, I think there is a powerful fascination for non-organization. You don't need to be mindful of organization because you practice psychology. You've got the approach of ecology, animal particularly, because you will see, if you look carefully, the shift between nature and the techniques of the mind is very close. And if we do not move ourselves into not being afraid of organizing, but equally preserving the right things, we will fail. So here I'm showing you very, very quickly a project which we did with Boston partners based on Yemen, the city on the top left-hand side. We worked on master plan level, which is Professor Sun referred to the mile. I think he referred to kilometer. This is a mile above the city, which was done in the desert, so it's paradoxical, but this client was willing to do the research. Zero carbon city. And to cut a long story short, we built a 10 megawatt sun farm, which is live, we took the water to clean water, desalinated water, and we had research from 14 different universities in order to embed that master plan. So the pedagogical conversation was very early. And then we went on and built the first neighborhood, which is this slot in the middle. It was selected to be the first piece, and the car was under the city, to the sun farms, and through the city was part of that infrastructure. So one of the things we learned was really going back to Yemen and studying Yemen carefully, looking at those mud cities thousands of years old, and then putting purpose and reason to some of these hours that we will see, which are really the work of an architect. Today, every architect relies on some analysis method or something else. But what we learned from the research we did over there is that there was a lot of intuition and instinct from the architects, and we were managed to replicate most of that in our city. So this is the neighborhood that was built. The first part of it is a laboratory and a university, so MIT already occupying this. And what's fantastic is that there's a post-occupancy device in the building, so we are continuously measuring this for the last 5 years to see if it performs like our tools did. And Boston partners have invested some money in building physics, and we can tell you categorically there is a 5-degree difference in very similar streets nearby in downtown Abu Dhabi compared to our streets. Now, if you work out the 5-degree difference, you will know the scale at which this has been a success. Sadly, The economy hit and it was unsuccessful, and that we didn't continue to build it. The second lesson that it taught me, and this is something that I keep repeating, is to back to my first diagram. We had 46 consultants and one architect. This is wrong. There are many architects, engineers, and all sorts of other disciplines born out of your disciplines. If you don't take control, you will. And we probably know less about beauty than you do. So I feel sorry for the world that don't take control. This is what has happened. We built it. It's beautiful. Costas and us are involved throughout in every piece of detail. We monitor the energy still. We monitor, well, we have some monitors on site, so if you take a shower for too long, the red light comes on and your behavior changes. So all these mechanisms are in place. It's quite failure in city, the first ever we The second last project is really again about conservation. It's won the Sterling Prize not this year, last year. And it is, you would wonder why I put it under the environmental category rather than workspace or any of the others. I will explain that later. But in historic cities, all of us have some respect for heritage. And the yellow bubble, the yellow bubble is where the site is, and if you don't know London, the post above here. This is the last of the island sites of the most expensive sites in the world. That's not an exaggeration. When the client bought this site, he discovered that this was the last thing he could do with the site, that expensive. So he bought it with a lot of money, and the context, as you can see very quickly, is a very important part of London, which none of us really knew. The buildings that were on the site when we arrived were built in the 60s, and you see them on the right-hand side. That's what we found on site when we arrived on site. And we conceived very quickly a project that was in these parts, and I will show you very quickly how it belongs to the different parts. The first one is Londonness, another is about technology, infrastructure, the role it plays in architecture, and then the knowledge and how you turn that into experience and work, as mentioned this morning. So what we found on the site was sewers, underground tunnels, surrounded by 3 or 4 tube lines and so on. But worse than that, and I will show you in a second, just to give you an idea of scale, I superimposed this last night on the Parliament building, just so you understand the scale at which we're talking here. The conception of the island is relatively simple, reinstating some streets, which are to do not only with infrastructure, with public space, but also we found lots of rivers underneath our site, rivers that were buried by engineers years ago. So all of that brought us to this, and that's it built. And the conceptualization was really to build for the next 100 years. And one of the things we wanted to do is build the most greenest office workspace. We discovered that the air quality on our streets won't be good enough to take in for another 20 years. But that did not mean that we don't design for the air quality. So one of the very important factors was how we design so over the 20 years we can tune the facade and let cool air in, at the same time clean air in. So it has got the label for the greenest workspace in the world, quite legitimately measured by LEED, Rest Down, and RIAM. So all of the, let's call them spreadsheet methods of measuring. I can tell you that it's a very complicated environment. Why? Because of the power of the architect in actually bringing the client within, bringing all of us within, to say we have to all do our best. And you see through the very fine analysis that you saw in Birmingham, that we were able to do all sorts of methods of processing this and trying to project over the next 100 years. But probably the most interesting thing for all architects is how we did the facade, which I won't tell you, but that's all right. We'll find out what the detail is that it is a bronze facade actually open over time. This is what we found. That was a big surprise. So when we knocked down the building, we learned that Roman London was underneath, and there were 3,600 bodies and 200 iPads, so tablets, underneath our site. We were shut down for 2 years. This is the biggest archaeological dig in London. So Mayor Bloomberg has taken some of it to New York. Some of it is now exhibited by the architect, told his client, I will make a museum in your building, display this for everybody. But the biggest challenge from a conservation point of view, go around, the great piles are what was there. So